So yeah, about self-love. I said self-love. About it's gonna be lonely, but you ain't never gonna be alone. Um, a lot of times, a lot of unhealed things come out in a lot of people, even yourself. And when someone decides to not check those things or want to heal with those things, you can feel as though no one understands you or understands you or let alone overstands you. And that could really cause you to really want to project in a way that may not be the best suitable state for your state of being. And you're like, what does that mean? It's state, and that's like someone stepping over my shoes one time and me getting upset and mad and willing to crash out about it. Or because someone doesn't understand how I feel, me willing to be controlling and force that logic on them in a manner that degrades them, or to just degrade somebody fully, like stuff like that. But like I'm starting to really fully not learn, because I already knew this. I've been this for a really long time. Unraveling these things. I'm just now trying to get used to all of these times I sit with myself and I'm really reevaluating, putting it out here for you guys, letting y'all hear my inner thoughts, pick up on this algorithm. I know that y'all already do. Y'all just got to understand where it's starting to come from, whether it's from me or from another person, God or goddess or king or queen who's really trying to heal themselves in these areas, and you can search up what algorithm means. Trust me, those the soul tribe and all of them, you'll understand. But when someone really doesn't want to check those parts of themselves and they start pointing the finger too much, you start to realize they're not willing to hold themselves accountable. And it's one thing to lie to somebody else, but remember, when you lie to somebody else, you only first and foremost, 10 to 1 that person's lied to themselves already. Anyone who lies to someone and already have lied to themselves enough or lied to themselves about a situation for them to feel more comfortable out of the triggers that they're experiencing. And what does that mean? How do you feel about that? Like, I get it, I do it, but like, I don't be caring. This and that. Yeah, we can say all of that, but deep down for anybody, I don't care if you claim to be gang banging, you gay, straight, trans, it don't matter. Like, you blue, black, green, gray, purple, white, it don't matter. Everyone got spirit. Everyone deep down feel a way about something that originates from love in some form of way, and they just chose to take certain paths which may have seemed aggressive or may have seemed ignorant or may have seemed illogical or irrational and things like that. But somewhere, someplace, someone was hurt before, which transpired them, which made them go a long way, take a long journey to hurting others. And I'd say it's going to get real lonely, because in those moments where you're not trying to prove nothing or you're worried about a right or wrong, and it's a 3-3-3-2, you're really more on some trying to actually understand the psychological patterns we're all repeating, which keeps us in this comfortability of neglectance of oneself, let alone someone else, to where we start projecting out these sides of ourselves that we don't really want to heal with, but it's saying we are healing with, and that's a real thing. Some people are really healing from the things they're saying they're healing from, but just not in a way that's getting them past that uncomfortability. It's like they trying to heal, but once they hit that point that keeps them stuck, they revert right back to the original state. And this is where you get the people who love unconditionally. This is where we start to separate ourselves naturally, not forcibly, but naturally. We start to realize how deep love is, and that sometimes it isn't just me cutting off people. It's just or hurting others or being ignorant or mad. It's really just, or me giving my love to everybody. It's just some people don't deserve your love, Not everybody's ready for your love. That doesn't mean, let me say that, not say that bad, but that doesn't mean deserve in that way, because I feel like everyone deserves unconditional love in some form of way. However, some people aren't ready for that love, you know, which can cause them to retaliate in ways that makes them feel as though it's really a you thing. And for the ones with the big hearts out here, who really out here still loving unconditionally and choosing the right people and actually enjoying and experiencing their good times, congratulations to you, genuinely. And I'm glad you're able to really experience that. People who really see you for you just as you see them for them. An equal exchange of energy. Seeing them through their thick and low while still having the same unconditional loving heart, which helps y'all both grow and evolve. And for the ones who's still experiencing the people who's, you know, keeping them in the same loops, keeping them in the same psychological patterns of not allowing them to be a reflection that we all already are, and instead of pointing the finger at them, pointing the finger at yourself first. Just fix it yourself, you know, first. Dang, am I just really upset and mad that they're telling me that I need more work to do, or that they're telling me that I really went back on my own word and I need to do this and I need to do that? For those who really got a lot of unconditional loving heart and they've been paying attention, we only talking from a perception of reflection. I'm only projecting out. I'm only reflecting what you've been dishing out. So you saying you hurt, you mad, you this and that, you formed this bubble, you said that, not us. We only here to remind you and let you remember and to inform you on what's going on, so you can actually genuinely heal from those things, just as we did or we are on the verge to do, you know? And everyone wants to be reactive instead of proactive, you know? They don't want to sit down and observe their thoughts and observe fear and anxiety and observe their shadows, shed light on their shadows, you know? They just want to act out of trauma and then blame the other person like they didn't see them for them, and they ain't mess with me for me, but you couldn't even mess with them for them. And it always happens when they at the lowest. Well, of course that'll happen. They're at the lowest. Nah, I shouldn't make you. Nah, it shouldn't make you to go back. Well, and I shouldn't make it. It shouldn't make you want to retaliate in a way to where you constantly want to project out this negative side and you don't want to heal with it. All our shadows is nothing but the shadow of the light. It's only it's only a reflection of what was neglected. All of the love, all of the wanting to be heard, all of the wanting to felt like you had a say so, or you are you. You know, you're normal, things like that, you know, like that's all it is. And since we always pushing it out and we just use it as a tool as just angriness or marveling things, we kind of neglect the point of a shadow that is here to remind us we're hurt and we're upset, you know, and still keep the light within our hearts to know that we need to just forgive ourselves. We need to forgive that other person, not just because they deserve it. Nah, some people don't, you know, not in that way. Yeah, we may not, we may forgive, but we don't never forget. Trust me, we don't forget. You somebody who really been through them battles, who been through them, yeah, them got them scars, like, you don't forget. Some things you can't forget. However, you need to forgive because you deserve that peace. You need to forgive because it's the only way to move forward. You need to let go. You need to face, accept, heal, and grow on these things. That's only going to allow you to proceed to grow further. When you don't do it, it keeps you stagnant. It keeps the other person stagnant. Now you feeling like you all alone because you couldn't face something, or now you feeling all alone because you did all you could in your power for you to understand someone. You are loved and you are heard, and they didn't want to hear that for only how they wanted to, but not how it was needed. And it's okay to have a want out of the need in some areas, you know, because that's the point of things. It has to feel natural. Has to feel natural. Oh, this is me. It has to, you know. But at some point, it ain't going to be like that. Some things is going to feel real uncomfortable. And you're going to have to face that. You're going to have to be like, damn. Like, maybe it was how I was looking at it. Maybe I did need to let go of that for them to be able to see what's going on. Or maybe I did need to let go for me to see what's going on. For me to recognize I do miss them. I do not need them, but I do love them. Or, hey, they don't maybe not love me in that area that I love them, you know. And that's okay, but that's not for my reality right now, you know. And that's another thing to point the finger. It's one thing to point the finger, but it's another thing not to point the finger at yourself, but to hold yourself accountable for the things you neglected your own self, knowing the other person sooner or later will do or already is doing. You know, it's kind of messed up for you to like be mad at someone because they crashed out in the area. And I'm not saying you can't be. I'm not saying, but I'm saying after a while for you to start to do the same thing they did when they was under that stress, you can't really be mad at it. Because you're like, damn, I'm really starting to feel how bad and mad they felt and upset how they was and how much they really went through. And like, no wonder they snapped. No wonder they went crazy. And now you understand, now you realizing that maybe it was you, you know, to an extent. Maybe what you were doing wasn't making the situation even better. You probably had anxiety. You wasn't that social, things like that, which could have made it really hard for someone to understand you as well. So, like, why disagree to agree all the time? Why not just respect each other's opinions and figure out what we can find on a mutual ground for peace? Because my peace may be different from your peace. However, we need to find some form of peace together for us to both grow on a mutual state. You said you see me for me. I mean, I said I see you for you. Do you see me for me as well? If you do, move that way. Because I'm moving that way. And if you can't see that, and then I have to separate myself for you to see that, then so be it. But that's true unconditional love. I'm not feeling like a plant, pull you out your habitat because I think it looked pretty for someone else because I couldn't acknowledge you and admire you from where you were at. You know? That's not true unconditional love. Don't mean because you got unconditional love, don't mean you won't get some unconditional ass whooping. You feel me? That don't mean I won't righteously whoop your ass. That don't mean righteously I won't walk away. That don't mean I didn't take self-love for myself. Nah, I created boundaries for myself. And you overstepped those boundaries. Step boundaries that I wouldn't even overstep. Which is supposed to keep not just my peace of mind, but your peace of mind. You know? And it get lonely in those moments. Because now you sitting with all of these thoughts on coulda, shoulda, wouldas, and all of these, well, I should have just crashed out. They did it anyway. Nah. Keep that big heart, man. Not everybody not everybody, yes, I have to say that. Not everybody deserves that at that moment. And if they did, not everyone is willing to, supposed to see it in that way yet. It's part of their journey. They probably had to do you bad in that way for them to recognize, dang, that's what's really bad. I wanted to know what love was. They brought me them. They showed me. I wanted to know what strength was. They gave me this scenario. Whew. It's like the universe comes in so many ways, like, to get you to realize, is this what you're ready for? New levels, new devils. Seriously, whether internally or externally, you know what a demon means. When you search up the Latin word of demon or demon, it's nothing but just a negative emotion. So don't overthink it. Oh my gosh, a demon, or like a freaking demonic horns. And nah, man, like you got inner demons and you got extensions of those inner demons, which comes from the actual demons, which is, you know, like I said, negative emotions, the greed, the lust, envy, jealousy, greed, all of these things. You know, we may exert these things in certain ways to make us feel like we're more justified to do it when it's happening to us. Instead of observing it and being proactive, we be reactive. We don't even give our shadow and our light a chance to shake hands and be like, I shed light on you, just as this light says, just as the dark says, I acknowledge you, light. That I do deserve love. I'm only acting this way because somebody got me fucked up. And I got to check that and remind myself that at some point they were in the same position I was. And if not, at some point this ain't going to get me nowhere if I'm still doing the same thing that's keeping me stagnant. Or thinking the same way that's keeping me stagnant. I need to let go. You know? And the reason why you're not alone is because look what I'm doing right now. Look what we're doing. You get to sit down and really talk with yourself. Really heal with yourself. Really grow in these areas, the times and moments they were supposed to go through that they didn't want to face and go through. They didn't want to face this part. They probably had people, external people, validating them and making them feel like, oh, you ain't wrong, you're this and you're that and you're all of this. I'm not saying they ain't your real friends, but you need to reevaluate who you saying is your friends and your mans or your brothers or your sisters or whoever it is. You know, some people may not know. Yes. However, if I see you're someone who genuinely likes this person or genuinely likes something, unconditionally through thick and thin, and you crash out on something because of how you just feel about something instead of checking yourself, knowing dang well you were just probably mad all day at something else and you just took it angry out or not, I'm the type of person to be like, that wasn't you. At the same time, I'm going to acknowledge and let you know how what you felt wasn't wrong in a way, because there's no such thing as right or wrong. What I think is right, you may think is wrong. What you may think is wrong, I may think is right. You just got to be righteous sometimes. You got to accept that some things just is what it is, and some things is needed for the reality and state of emotion you're at for you to either heal, grow, or to keep going through the same thing over until you learn. And that is true stuff. Whether you surround yourself around that people or you surround yourself around those things, places, or persons. And if they ain't really on something like, that's not you at the heart. I understand if you felt upset and you felt mad, but you ain't need to whoop their ass. They ain't put their hands on you. They ain't hurt you. They ain't this, they ain't that. Why don't you just walk away and let go? Instead, you fed into the side that you was mad at them, that they fed into. Now you doing the same thing they doing. Could you really be mad and upset about what they did? You fighting fire with fire. You ain't make it better. Come on, man. You know you deserve that love. Let it go. You know what? I see you're not really ready to really heal in this area that I'm willing to heal in and grow in. And I know it may be uncomfortable, but just know when you're ready, I'll be here. And if they don't end up being ready at that time, then it is what it is, you know? That's okay, but that don't mean you didn't love to your fullest extent. That don't mean in some form of way they didn't learn love until their fullest extent. Just probably not for how it was needed for them to realize that, you know? So you start to come to a point to where you be like, dang, like you just be grateful for stuff. Grateful for yourself. You start forgiving yourself. You start to cry. You start to let all of these things out. You start to look at trees like, I admire you. I honor you. I respect you. You hear still growing silent. Beautiful. Nurturing not just yourself, but allowing the natural things that come, whether bad or good, the thunder, the rain, the sun, all of these things that can destroy you to make you grow and be better. And the things that are making you be better to make you grow more. You know? You recognize in like a tree, like it's always going to grow if it's in the right environment. Whether it's bad conditions sometimes, you know, it's still going to grow. Some may grow a lot slower than others. Some may grow faster. That's okay. But what's ever needed for that individual tree or certain type of tree. You know, sitting here reflecting upon myself. I'm not mad at people for the stuff they did to me. I'm not mad at myself for the things I've did. Well, oh, you just might be mad at yourself. Nah, I'm not. I love, and I love unconditionally, and I mean that. I mean that. Why would I be mad because I loved unconditional? Nah, they just didn't deserve that love yet. They needed to feel it. And then knowing that everybody's going to come off this way. You got to learn that through someone else. Because what they love may be, it's not going to be what I love, you know? And hopefully that the way they loving you is going to be able to love you in the way that you need to feel wanted, heard, loved, or seen, or felt. And, you know, like I said, man, you'll start to realize you're not alone. Start realizing how much about your benevolent ancestors. You're like, well, your ancestors, not everybody's too fond of that. But you got to be. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Everything I'm going through, I promise you, somebody went through that either 10 times worse or probably not at all. Or just like this. Same thing, different name. Only thing that makes it unique is just me. How I embrace that energy. How I transmute this. You know? And our ancestors went through these same things, you know? So they had to sacrifice their identity and who they were for others who didn't give a fuck about them. So you gotta be like, respect that even your elders, your elders, like they went through probably just as much or probably not at all. But when they did go through it, I bet you they've experienced it in some form of way to where they felt alone, they felt not heard, all of these things. And not everyone's willing to deal with it these ways. So you gotta start to realize like, dang, Like, I hope that they was here for me in those areas. And talking on a collective note to where those who's actually clicking on this video for a reason, because you're actually in tune to the collective consciousness and, you know, source. Y'all know our ancestors went through hardships, man, for us not to even get here. And look how we here. And that's okay, though. Because all of these grids and all of these psychological patterns that was put on us and illusions and things that wasn't supposed to serve us, that wasn't supposed to serve us the best version of ourselves, you know, for us to, not the best, for us to serve us the best state of emotion or characteristic for us to heal from the things that's been projected on us, you know, we are facing right now. We're a testimony of that. They're a testimony of that. Look where we're at right here. You know? So don't give up, man. Don't give up. You giving up, you only giving up on yourself and those who fought so hard for you to be able to know, even if you get up. I mean, if you don't give up, we got your back. Whether that's you yourself or whether that's the things that helped you be yourself. Because you start paying attention to synchronicities, man. Everybody think, oh, people tapping in, hey, this is not, and I said this and I said that. Look, man, like I said, ain't nothing new under the sun. All we here is to remember who we are and to reveal these things. Simple. So everything I'm saying, yeah, someone probably can say in another different way. Everything I'm saying, someone probably has already said. But the question is, does it resonate with you? Are you healing? What are you taking from this? Are you healing with these things? You know? So, like, really question these things to where you actually can heal and want to accept these parts of yourself that others really wasn't willing to accept, so that you don't become this version of yourself you refused or was hurt about others becoming to hurt you. Be true to yourself, man. And be authentic. Some people's authenticness is they true colors and they may be assholes. Some people not. But at least you get to know who you are internally for you to heal with that. You know? So peace, love, and light. Y'all continue to keep growing. Also shed light on those shadows, because our shadows need us to hear what's going on and to really reflect on things, you know? Keep being great, you know? And just don't give up on yourself. And even when you do, know you are always protected. Know they got your back, because it could have been a lot worse. And you know that. And you probably seen it from somebody else. It could have been a lot worse. You could have crashed out a lot worse. But you chose not to. Because you chose self-love, boundaries. You walked away, or you confronted those things and faced those things in order for other things to want to neglect your experience because they wouldn't want to face the things they were supposed to. So, and also, who knows? Maybe they wasn't supposed to at that moment, but don't mean it wasn't a lesson. And don't mean it wasn't an experience. So, I love y'all. And whoever's clicked on this video, I really hope it helps you. You know, like, remember, I know y'all may feel alone, but you're not always alone. Trust me or not, just listen to yourself. Sit down and listen before you just act out on these emotions, man. When you in a quotation argument, really a debate. You ain't debating things, like, really sit down with yourself, man. And reflect how you really feeling before you just project all that out on someone else thinking it's them. Just to find out, I'm not as perfect as well. So the world, probably just another person. But to someone, the fucking world, man. You deserve that love. You really do. And even if it's to yourself, you the fucking world. Stand on that. Love that. Keep growing and keep healing. You deserve it. Peace, loves. Peace, gods and goddesses. Take care. Nah.